So today is the first semi-final of the Russian World Cup. We have Belgium and France taking on each other tonight, and I am so excited for this. I'm excited for the England game versus Croatia, of course, but I'm also extremely nervous about that one, whereas tonight it's a little bit different, because of course, you know, France, Belgium, both equally as good, I would say, and it doesn't, I'm obviously not nervous about it, so it doesn't matter as much. Of course, it means a lot in terms of who we're going to be playing in the final, should we make it, but yeah, the England game right now, it's gut-wrenchingly nerve-wracking, but that's tomorrow. We're talking about tonight, so I'm going to try and do a quick prediction here before the game kicks off. It's so difficult to call, and that's what I love about the latter stages in the World Cup, because you often have two very good teams, two very equally good teams that play against each other, so I'm going to stick with France because, of course, that was my pre-tournament prediction. I said France would win it. I almost said Germany. I don't know if you remember the video where I did my World Cup predictions. And I started off the video saying France. Halfway in, I was like, actually, I tell you what, though, Germany's squad, they could easily win this as well. And then I ended the video saying France are going to win. So I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to go with 2-1 to France. Obviously, I hope they don't win the World Cup. I want England to win it, but I also kind of want my prediction to be close. So I want France in the final, and I think actually I'd rather play France than Belgium. I can't even explain why. I just feel like if England get France, because it's, I guess, the real test, isn't it? We've played Belgium already, although it was their B-side. I want to test ourselves against France, and I think if we're gonna win this World Cup, if we're gonna beat Croatia and then beat a team in the final, we might as well do it in the hardest way possible, right? Let's beat France, who I think have the best squad for sure. So how do I think they're going to play tonight against Belgium? I think Belgium, they might have more of the ball, but I just don't see them as much of an overall team, if that makes any sense whatsoever. I feel like the French team just has a bit of everything. They've literally got everything in their team. And I'm not saying that Belgium don't have a good team, but there's something about this French side, the mixture of youth, strength, the physicality of their team. You know, you look at Kanté and Pogba, two complete opposites, but they complement each other so well. The youngsters, Mbappe, of course, down that right wing. I'm sure they're going to go Giroud in the middle, Griezmann towards the left side. I mean, I don't see, especially if Belgium go three at the back like they have been, I don't see them beating France tonight. Although I think that they will potentially have more of the ball. I just don't think that means they're going to win. So, yeah, I'm going to go 2-1 France. I think it'll be maybe a Griezmann goal and a Pogba goal, something like that. And I think they might actually go 2-0 up, and then Belgium will make it a bit of a sweaty ending. That's my prediction for this game. Who knows how it's going to pan out? I might be wrong, but I still think France are going to make it. And by the way, just while I'm thinking about it now, I am going to do a video on Torreira tomorrow, who's of course been announced as an Arsenal signing, our fourth signing of the window. Also, I'm going to talk about Ronaldo, who's gone to Juventus. That is confirmed. And Guendouzi as well to Arsenal, apparently having his medical tonight and tomorrow should be announced. So another thing that I want to talk about. But now let's get into the match review. I'm really excited to watch it. So I guess I'll see you in about 3 hours or so. And there we have it, guys. We know one team in the final. It's going to be France. I was right. I got my prediction right. Well, kind of. I predicted they would win. But my main prediction that France are going to win the World Cup is one step closer. I guess you could say, unfortunately. It now is all down to England tomorrow. If we can beat Croatia, we know who we're playing against now. If we can beat Croatia. I know it's one game at a time, but surely this is going to be on the players' minds now. Beat Croatia, and we are in the World Cup final. The World Cup final! I can't believe I'm saying that in the same sentence as saying England. And it will be against France, arguably the best squad in the tournament. I mean, are they though? France, Spain, Germany, individuals? Yeah, I don't know. There's something about this French team. They are incredibly good at just grinding these results out. They're not even playing that spectacularly well. I don't think that tonight, actually, they deserved to win. I thought Belgium were actually very good. They dominated large portions of this match. They had plenty of chances to score. They absolutely bottled it in some occasions where they really should be putting them away. I mean, they were the top scorers in the tournament. I think they still are. They've got to score some of these chances, you know, and I'm sure they're going to really regret missing some of them. But ultimately, France took their chances, and when they did dominate, they dominated well, didn't they? They had some great moments in that game. And ultimately, It wasn't even a superb goal that won it, but it was just one of those headers that you see it go in and you think, wow, you should have probably done a bit better there. I do feel for Belgium. I really do. I think that they were undoubtedly one of the better teams of this tournament. There's no doubt about it. And they will go home proud of what they've achieved, but also very disappointed that this golden age team hasn't been able to go that one step further and win the final. It's a shame. It really is. So unlucky to Belgium, but complete credit and well done to France, who I'm actually very nervous about should England win against Croatia. I know I keep saying like we're going to be there. Obviously I'm really hoping, hand on heart, that England get through tomorrow and beat Croatia, because then we play France. And it just makes me so... I'm nervous already. It makes me more nervous thinking about that game as well. Okay, so... what happened in the game today? Let's talk about a couple of things, because France, like I said, didn't really dominate the game as much as maybe people expected, but there were some standout performances for me, and the majority of those standout performances were in their defence. I thought Umtiti was absolutely amazing, but Varane, oh my God, that guy. Varane, he must be up there as one of the best defenders in the World Cup so far. He's just been outstanding. The amount of challenges that he put in, perfect timing, the clearances, everything about his game tonight was exceptional. It really was. And if he wasn't already at Real Madrid, you know he would be signing for them this summer. Talking of Real Madrid, of course, they've sold Ronaldo to Juventus. It is confirmed. Who are they going to be replacing him with? Makes me think they're going to be spending big on someone. Hazard, maybe? Another player that had a very good game? Let's continue talking about the France team first, because then I'll move on to the players that I thought did well for Belgium. Mbappe didn't have his best game, but still was involved quite a lot. I feel like he was a bit selfish at times. You could see he was kind of trying to go for a bit of glory. And I get it. You're young, you're hungry, you want to prove to the world why you are the most expensive teenager of all time, one of the most expensive players of all time, second most expensive player of all time. He was very intelligent in this game. Sometimes a little bit too intelligent for his own good. I feel like sometimes, especially towards the end of the game, when he was trying to do what all the big teams do when they're winning these big games, try and take the ball to the corner. He kept trying this up against a very strong back three. You look at Vertonghen, you look at Company, you look at Alderweireld. You're not going to be able to back up against those three. He made himself look a little bit like an idiot. And actually, I think the more intelligent thing would have been just to clear it half the time. He would just run at them. There was a moment with about 5 minutes to go where he had the ball in his own half and he went to take on the defence. And you just think Pogba absolutely blasted him for it because he lost the ball doing that. That's just an experience thing. And, although Mbappe didn't score today and although he didn't really do much, I did see flashes of that intelligence that I think he's going to be a superb player, not just because he's quick, but because he's strong, but because he's got great finishing ability, but because he's very intelligent. He makes brilliant runs. His support play is very good as well. Griezmann and Giroud, I thought, were pretty good today. Giroud really good at holding up the ball. Griezmann great at finding those pockets of spaces and providing passes when he needed to, and also getting shots away. But it was their midfield trio that really did it for me, and that was Matuidi, Pogba and Kante. Those guys were everywhere. Pogba, I think, had his best game today. Kante, as usual, doing his main job of being basically two players. But Matuidi, he is one of the most underrated players in this French team. Why can't Dembele get in the team? Why did Martial not go to the World Cup? It's because of players like Matuidi who take their position. Even though he's not a left winger, even though he's not a left midfielder, he's definitely more of a left-sided player, but he's a central player that drifts out on the left, and he just covered so much ground. And I think without Matuidi, they would have not won this game. He was, for me, man of the match, and when he came off, it was a big shame because I wanted him to finish that game and be man of the match. I don't know who actually got man of the match. Hopefully, it was him. I would actually have given it to him, or maybe Varane. But one last player that I really want to talk about. Actually, no, we'll go with two more. The most important player that I want to talk about right now is Lloris, Tottenham goalkeeper. A lot of people doubted him going into this World Cup because he's made a couple of mistakes here and there. All keepers do. Tonight he was phenomenal. He really was. A captain's performance. He was leading that defensive line. You could see him shouting. You could hear him on the microphones through the TV. You could see him positioning his walls perfectly in the free kicks. You could see his positioning when making saves was just perfect. 10 out of 10 performance from Lloris tonight. Absolutely fantastic. But the other player that I wanted to mention as well was Pavard. He's been linked with Bayern, Man City. He's linked with everyone. Let's be honest. He is one of the standout players from this World Cup. In terms of going into a tournament relatively unknown, he's going to come out of this tournament as one of the best known youngsters from this World Cup. He has been absolutely unbelievable for them. Playing out of position as well. He can play as a right back, but for his club he plays as centre back, and that just shows how versatile this guy is. And he would be an unreal signing for anyone. He really would. Just a brilliant, brilliant defender, and I really like the way he gets forward as well. Just brilliant. So that's the French team spoken about a little bit. Let's talk about the Belgian side and where I think they maybe went wrong today. And also, before I forget, Witsel, right? One of their best players, undoubtedly one of the best players in this Belgium team. Why is he playing in that shitty league, man? Come back to Europe. Come play in the Premier League. He's such a wasted talent out there. I love Witsel. Not just because of what he did for me in my Arsenal career mode all those years ago. I miss him so much. Just come back, play football in England. It'd be amazing. Now that I've got that out of the way, I actually think they got their team selection right, but they missed one key player, and that was Meunier. He has been so good for them. Down on that right side, playing as right wing back / right mid. He does a lot of work for them, and whilst Chadli came in and did the best he could, he's not Meunier. You know, Meunier is one of those underrated players that gets stuff done. Great defensively, great going forward, and they really, really missed him tonight. This 3-5-2 formation, or 3-5... 3-4-1. I don't know what they play. It's so difficult to see sometimes. It seems like when they're defending, it's a 5-3-2 with Hazard and Lukaku up top. But otherwise, it looks like a 3-4-3 going forward, I guess. And it didn't seem to work so well tonight, just because they had a few players missing that, you know, like Meunier, make it such a viable formation for them. Courtois had a great game. You know, towards the end there, stopped it from going to 2-0 when Tolisso hits it across him. He's just such a long goalkeeper. He just saves everything, doesn't he? And I think Fellaini had one of those games where there was moments where you see why he's in this team. You see how good he was in the last game. He deserved to play in this one. They needed a Fellaini-type player in there. But then there were moments where he just isn't that quality that you need on the ball, at least. He's great to have in the air. He's great to have in the box when you're throwing in balls and crossing it in. But when he gets on the ball, it's just everything slows down. I feel like he actually interrupted their flow sometimes, and they just could not get Lukaku on the ball enough tonight. He was involved in a few 1-2s around the box, but what made Belgium so strong at the start of this tournament was those runs made by Lukaku in between the lines, and him feeding Hazard on the left, Mertens on the right, and then them giving it back and crossing in. There was just none of that tonight, and I feel bad because it wasn't necessarily Belgium's fault. I almost feel like France just knew that's exactly what they're going to do, and they countered it absolutely perfectly. So that's going to be my match review of today's game. The big one is, of course, tomorrow. I don't know how I'm going to sleep tonight. I'm so nervous about this game. Is it coming home, guys? We've got 2 games to go, potentially. Well, there is 2 games to go. We either lose to Croatia and play the 3rd place playoff against Belgium, or, of course, we advance through to the final against Croatia and play France. That's the one we want. But France have made it through. Do you think they deserve it? I think ultimately they do. I think they did deserve to go through in the end. Belgium on the night were just off the pace by a smidgen. It was a very close game. Thank you for watching, guys. Make sure you drop a like on this video. If we could hit 1,500 likes, I'd really appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe to the channel as well. And I will see you tomorrow night for the big review between England and Croatia. My God, I'm just shitting myself.